Hey folks, today I'm heading to Philadelphia to test out the brand new Nikon D850 along with the holy trinity of Nikon lenses to see how it compares to my other favorite Nikon cameras like the D5, the D810 and the D500. I'm going to test it out in all the different kinds of ways that I tend to use my camera when I'm traveling and see could it be my new all-time favorite DSLR. Don't knock my memory cards off the desk. Stick around folks, in this video we're going to do a whole bunch of different fun shoots throughout Philadelphia and take you on a little sightseeing visit of the place as well and really test out what this D850 is capable of. Okay folks, before we jump into this, please do jump on over to my website, sign up to the mailing list. I'll send you a free guide to portraiture. You can also check out my new off-camera flash guide. Now, I know if you're watching this, you probably know all of the specs about the D850. I'm not going to touch on any of that. I've done a quick little video with this one, but I wanted to test it out in more detail, and I thought rather than using really exotic lenses, I'll use great lenses, but kind of more of the mainstay. One of the most popular videos I've ever made was about the Nikon Holy Trinity. That's the 24-70, the 70-200, and I just got a rental in from Lens Pro to go to be able to do this. The 14-24. That was the original Holy Trinity that I, demonstrated on YouTube. Now they've come out with the VR version, which I don't own, but I got from Lens Pro to go to test out, and they've got the E version of the 70-200. So I'll be taking the new Holy Trinity along with me to Philadelphia. Now this is going to be as much a little road trip as anything else. I'm taking along my drone, I'm taking along GoPros, we're going to do a bunch of different model shooting and visiting sites around Philadelphia, so it's going to be really fun. First off, I rented out a convertible from the car hire place nearby. Now wish me luck, this is my first time driving in Manhattan. I made it all the way around the corner before I drove on the wrong side of the road straight at a police officer. Thankfully, I didn't get a ticket, I don't think they noticed, and we had a nice trip through Manhattan. Before I knew it, I was at the Holland Tunnel and then into New Jersey. Now, the roads were super busy by my standard, but also huge. So, we actually made really great time, and it's a really beautiful part of the world. Before I knew it, we're crossing over the beautiful and iconic Benjamin Franklin Bridge, and oh my God, we're in Philadelphia. So first stop, we headed down to the Reading Terminal Market. Great market with loads of different food options. I went straight to Nick's to get a roast pork, roast beef and broccoli rabe roll. Absolutely delicious. Then we took a little moment to walk around Center City, got a couple of different street shots with the D850. This shot really demonstrates the dynamic range. They're exposed for the clouds, here boosting it, and then boosting it again to 5 full stops increased, and then going in on the area that was previously black, you can see there's still full detail in the undercarriage of that building. Next up, we headed to Graffiti Pier, which is just out of town and a location that Steph suggested. It looks back onto Philadelphia City, and it looks like it was a couple of abandoned railway lines or something. It's not too far from the town, it's a little bit shady, broken glass everywhere, but the graffiti makes for a really great backdrop. The Mavic gives a really nice point of view on it. We brought a flash in, took some test shots, and then went for it. In case you didn't know, Steph is a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo, so she's great at doing all these action shots. Make sure you jump on over to Granger/D850 to get some sample files. Now this is where this ultra wide angle works great. These are shot at around 17mm, but then going from different vantage points, high and low, close or far, you can get some really dramatic angles. And here I shot at 19mm, down low, really close to her, allowing the distortion to give her really long legs. The tilting screen was really handy to get almost down at ground level without having to kneel in the broken glass. Okay, so adding the flash, I can use a really high F number and freeze the action that way. But using just this beam of light we've got going on, I want to use a shallower depth of field but because she's moving in the shot, it's a bit harder to know exactly where to focus. I'm going to try out the tracking focus, have it try and stay on her face as she moves forward, up and into the kick, and see if the leg, which is the same skin tone, doesn't throw the tracking off. Okay, hold on. Okay, on your face, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I could see it, it jumped. Face, chest, up her leg as she kicked. Next up, we took a nice drive along Kelly Drive, a famous drive along the waterfront with all kinds of monuments, and it's literally just minutes from town. Beautiful and green, the waterfront is home to loads of boathouses. Philly has a strong rowing culture and there's these beautiful houses there. Here, looking back on the art museum, that's home to the famous Rocky Steps, and downtown. Lots of interesting monuments and a reminder of Philly's important history in freedom in America. The zoo was flying a hot air balloon, and here at 200 mil and then using the D850's huge resolution, we can crop right in and find people in the basket. Next up, we went to the Eastern State Penitentiary. This building was one of the most expensive, most famous, and most influential in terms of design of any prison ever. If you want to bring your tripod, you need to pay an extra couple of bucks to get a pass. I think it was $10 and it lasts a year. I was in full tourist mode looking around. I only grabbed a handful of shots throughout my time there, but you know, already the dynamic range of this camera is doing great. Here, as you can see, just boosting the shadows and blacks, there's a whole bunch of detail there. I did also go up and take a series of shots. I've got a trial of Aurora 2018 HDR program. I'm not a huge HDR fan because it always looks so unnatural, but this one, in a single step, it brought it up really nicely. I put together 4 images and it just yielded heaps of detail, and to my eye, it didn't look unnatural. That's how it was to start with. Okay folks, so as I said, I'm just testing out the D850 in a few different ways that I tend to use my gear. So today I've been traveling around Philly. You saw we went to the penitentiary and to Kelly Drive and stuff. So now doing some indoor shots. I'll see how the focus does in this low light. It's actually light, I've just got the ISO boosted over there. Then I've got a strobe as well. We're gonna do a few different implied looks and then head out just around sunset to bring the strobe in and try and light her up against the background. You good? So, what did we got?
A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. What do you want?
You have too much stuff. You choose your favorite, like, what do you call it? Sleepwear. Okay. Something a little bit cute, and then we'll start with that, and then we'll do outside.
I think I have something in mind.
What is it with girls and slippers? Alright then, sure. You're still wearing...
Oh shoot. Do you want me to take them off?
We set up to do some implied nude portraits and I'd intended to light them, but I noticed there was this really great halo from the lights inside the room behind her, so we just turned the lights off and shot it at high ISO. Not a bad result for ISO 7200. Make sure you jump over to the website to download sample files. Okay, next I want to test out the 70-200. When you really extremely backlight a subject, it can be quite tricky to retain detail. So it'll be an interesting test of this camera's sensor and the new 70-200 E lens. I'm going to put a really strong strobe in that back room and then fire it to backlight her, and there'll only be the smallest amount kind of lighting the front of her, and the whole back of that room will become completely whited out. I have to say I'm really impressed with this result, even with the blown out light from behind. Loads and loads of detail retained down to the fine hairs on her face. Okay, so I had a concept of a cool dress that'll come up great under flash against the Philly skyline. Now it's not the night I was really looking for, it's quite overcast, but if we drop the exposure by a couple of stops, let's do it. you can see it's really coming up with some nice colors through the sky in the background there. So I'm thinking, I hope Steph's down, to get her up on one of these tables, not the most glamorous location, because we can't possibly get her up this high. We will not get the whole body. We'll probably just do from waist or whatever's above the bar. I'll get up on a chair as well to get the same height to be able to shoot. Actually, down low may work better so I can fill up the background. So I'll be using the 24 to 70, 70 to 200, talking fast because we're almost out of light. Hey, don't joke. It was just in the news a photographer got shot.
Oh my God,
you guys are gun crazy.
Sorry.
Like any glamorous photo shoot, it starts with the model climbing up onto a barbecue and waiting as a photographer sets up his lights. Before we knew it, the sun had almost set and the city was coming to life. Beautiful city. I'm actually really tempted to keep going back to Philly or maybe even consider moving there. We had a quick review of the shots and then that was pretty much it for my time in Philly. So look, I've only been shooting with the D850 for a week, but I can tell you it's phenomenal. It's everything I hoped it would be and more. Now, the first Nikon that's doing, full frame 4K video without crop. I know that won't matter to some people, but for others, if you want to get your full frame on your lenses, it's great. With the holy trinity of modern lenses, I mean, it's just an unbeatable combination. Resolution, speed. If you needed the extra reach of APS-C or you need over 10 frames a second, then you already know this and this camera isn't for you. But for me, it's just phenomenal. No, it doesn't track or handle quite as well as the D5, but it's great. The other options that it has, like the silent shooting, the tilty screen, the smaller form factor, it's just fantastic. The focus is really, really snappy, still not quite as good as the D5, but that's always the case. Even the D500 isn't quite as good as the D5, and so all three of them now share the same focus system. The 70 to 200, they've always been brilliant. This one, I think, is the best of the bunch. It did take me a little moment to get used to the zoom and the focus ring having been switched, but after that, it was just fine. Likewise, the 24 to 70, I didn't notice a huge difference in image quality from the original, but having the VR on there did certainly give me the confidence to go to lower shutter speeds. But I have to say, I found it vignettes quite a lot, and I was correcting that in the shots. Having said that, a lot of the shots in this are pretty much straight out of camera. 14 to 24, I guess, is the next one that's going to be updated. Let's see what they do with it, but it's still fantastic. I shoot a lot with the Tamron 15 to 30 with VC. I love that lens, great value, but 14 is significantly and noticeably wider than 15. If you've shot with both, you'll know 14 really does give you that extra amount of space in the shot. So long story short, yeah, the D850 is really doing it for me. I'm not going to get rid of my D5 anytime soon for even faster moving things, but I could see myself definitely when I'm in DSLR mode traveling with a pair of D850s. It's just that good. Really, really impressed. Having said that, to really find out quirks, what it's great at, what it suffers at, you want to put it through extensive testing. So I will be doing a field tested video on this where I shoot with it for over 3 weeks, really trying to nut out any issues that I find with it. Now, as I said before, I paid full retail for this. I bought it from Camera Bar in Connecticut. No affiliation with Nikon USA. I don't even have a relationship with them yet, although I would love to. It's just my honest thoughts. This is a kick-ass camera, but I want to do more testing on it before I can really say that I've given you a comprehensive review. I think it deserves that. If you're looking to order one of these, then check out, I do have Amazon, Adorama, and B&H links in the caption. They are affiliate links, and let me know what you'd like to see done in a future video. And you can download JPEGs and enormous TIFF files straight from this camera over at the website. There's links in the card above and the caption below. Hope you enjoyed that, folks. Thanks for a great weekend in Philly, Steph. I'll see you guys soon. But for now, I can understand why I've been getting comments that Nikon guy is back. It's, yeah, it's really a fantastic camera. I'm really impressed.
Tragic news today. The nation is in mourning at the loss of one of its brightest stars. That Nikon guy shot to internet fame in early 2011 with his fun yet informative photography videos. This is what we know so far. That Nikon guy is officially gone. His cause of death is unknown.